Hey, what's up, guys? It's just some YouTuber here, and today I'm going to be discussing something that is very relevant, especially today's society. The topic today is the ongoing quarantine and why it's important and how it is infecting the lives of millions around the world. As you may know, I live in the United States, and there is no shortage of controversy and debate on this pandemic. I say pandemic because, according to Merriam-Webster, a pandemic is an outbreak of disease that occurs over a wide geographic area and affects an exceptionally high proportion of the population. Coronavirus pandemic meets the definition of a pandemic because, according to the CDC, as of May 12th, 2020, there are currently 1,342,594 cases in the United States, and it is continued to rise from that number. That number is a rough estimate. It's not 100% confirmed. The data, due to the shortage of tests, the data is only sort of confirmed. It's in a gray area is the best way to say it. Those are the minimum confirmed cases, but it is more likely that there are much more cases than there are confirmed cases because of just the shortage of tests. If I look around at the states with this map that shows all the coronavirus cases, I will be leaving a link to this in the description, by the way. This is straight off the cdc.gov website. For those of you who aren't American or not quite sure what the CDC is, even though it's the Center for Disease Control, that's like our United States' version of just kind of tracking and preventing disease, kind of like the WHO, the World Health Organization, you know. And why I'm talking about this is specifically that this is going to be my major in college. If you don't know, I'm currently a college student. Just finished up my last semester before I'm a sophomore in college, and I thought that was pretty exciting, but I was really upset when it came to an end due to this pandemic. I was forced to go home and leave all behind the new friends that I've made, and kind of realize how, I might not be able to see them for a very long time because of this, and I was forced to do my last several weeks online, and it's not something I really wanted to do. I enjoyed being in class, I enjoyed campus, and my freshman year has been undoubtedly changed and will forever be in my memory of how college was like for me, was just the memory of this pandemic. That was my first experience of college, and just like thousands of others as well, that'll be their first-hand experience with college as well. So going back to the CDC, I can see that one of the states that have the highest cases is New York, with a concentration of 336,017 cases confirmed so far. It's insane if you think about it, especially considering New York City is such a concentrated area of buildings and people, and it's very hard to kind of isolate yourself from others when you're basically next to them on a daily basis. It's not something to be taken lightly. I'm just looking at the news and all of this, and I realize, all the protests of people being anti-quarantine or pro-quarantine, stay home, don't stay home, violating our rights. They're not violating our rights as American citizens. And putting that all aside and just looking strictly from a public health standpoint, which is what I tried to do in non-biased ways, as my hopefully soon-to-be profession will have me do on a daily basis, is that the best way that we know of now as human technology advances is to limit contact with others to limit the spread of disease. That's the best way that we know how to keep a disease from spreading, is to just have people stay home and self-isolate themselves and limit contact with others. But you don't want to do that, and I don't want to do that. I'm stuck at home. I hate it here. I hate being stuck at home. Not that I hate it, my house. It's just, I'd rather be out with my friends. I want to go back to college and experience new things, like hanging out with my friends, going on hikes, going back to class. Not that I look forward to it, but it's something that I need to be doing. And it's exciting, to have your college life, and then all of a sudden just terrible to have it just taken away, due to some disease that was only hardly a common thought at the time. And people are saying nowadays that this was predicted for years, and it's always been like obvious sign of coming, and how come we didn't see this sooner? I actually have an article that I had to do for one of my classes for public health. It's a newspaper trimming from May of 2019 or 2018, and it said CDC warns on new superbug, all the way back in 2018. And that article was basically focused on bacterial infections that were resistant to antibiotics and any type of treatments. And so they were going to try this new experimental process of using bacteriophages, which are the teeny tiny viruses that infect and kill bacterial cells inside the human body. So instead of getting a dose of antibiotics next time you're sick, you might be getting some drink or something, and you drink that, and it's filled with little tiny viruses, or bacteriophages as their name is, and those viruses will go and they will kill the harmful bacteria in your body and not harm your cells in any way, because the thing about bacteriophages is that they cannot interact with human cells. They can only interact with bacterial cells. I find that very interesting, and there's something, we need to do something similar to that, where we need to find a better way to fight viruses. We need to figure out a better way to get rid of viruses. We have antiviral drugs, but there is no cure-all of it. And people are talking about HIV medication to try and maybe kill the coronavirus, but the problem with that is that they're two different viruses. The same virus for the flu, the yearly flu, is the same virus family of HIV, and that is why it's very, very hard to make vaccines for these, because those families of viruses mutate so frequently that it's hard to create a vaccine. If one letter changes in the genetic sequencing, there'll be a completely new effect, or something will happen and the virus is much more deadly and the vaccines don't work, or the opposite happens and the virus ends up killing itself, through a mutation error. And so far as we know, the coronavirus specifically, has mutated a few times, and no one knows what's happening for sure. And that's the terrible thing about this, is that testing and reporting takes time, and to say things that we know are set in stone, especially with this ongoing pandemic, are far from the truth. Everything is up to speculation, especially with data this new. The reason why we know the flu is the way the flu is because we've had years and years of data. The flu's been around for a long time. This isn't something that popped up recently, So we have this data of the flu virus, and we're able to figure out these are the patterns of it. This is when you should get your flu shots. The most optimal time for these vaccines are this month, and the virus, these vaccines protect against the virus for this extended period of time. And we know all that because we've had time to process and think about the data that was given to us from these years and years of recording and statistics of the flu virus. And we don't have those years and years of data when we do with the coronavirus. The best thing we can do now, it may not be the best thing that everyone wants to hear right now, and everyone's been hearing this, but it's just to hold on for just a little bit longer. I don't know, I'm not a genie or psychic. I can't tell you when this is going to end. I'm not happy with it. I miss my friends. I miss my extended family. I want to go see them, but they're in a different country, and travel is not the best idea at all right now, especially considering that they're older, and this virus will affect them more than it will affect me. With the data we have so far is what's leading to that conclusion, is that it affects elderly people more. But that's just speculation. We don't know for sure, because we've also seen it kill younger and healthier people too before. If you look at the statistics in the CDC, although it is uncommon, it still happens. And it's happening to people who aren't just immunocompromised or people who have certain already pre-existing conditions. It's happening to people who are healthy. And that's scary to think about too, One thing that I really just want to go off and say is that take care of your loved ones. Understand that this is something that we all have to deal with and work together. And hopefully this will all be coming to a conclusion soon. I want to say that, I want to believe it, but we won't know for sure until, it actually happens. And all we can do now is just kind of sit back and hope that some breakthrough is made and we can all get back to a life of normality. And I think everyone will look forward to that. So thank you for listening to my podcast. Really appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.